Hey guys, what's going on? It's Nuke here, back with some patch notes actually. Should have had a couple videos go up while I was traveling this week for work, so I know I didn't get to stream this week, but you should have at least had some content to go over. But if you have not been paying attention to some of the announcements from Ometa, whether it's on their social medias and their Discord, there is an unbelievably massive patch coming down this coming Tuesday, and we're going to dive into it. This is going to be pretty lengthy. These might be the biggest patch notes I've actually seen. I haven't actually compared it to tell you if that's true or not. But if you want to come take a look at the version 1.12 patch notes. So we're so glad to be back. So again, if you haven't been paying attention, this is the new hero, Neon. She's a mid laner, and she has a mechanic like Crunch or Terra, where after you hit so many effects, use so many abilities, something like that, your next ability is empowered. So yeah, a couple things, lots of bug patches. Every single hero got a tweak of some sort. Some of them are almost like complete kit reworks. Some of them are like one ability changed or they had augments changed. But there is some stuff that was just some little changes, and then there is some ridiculously big changes. So taking a look at Neon, if you want to watch this video going over her abilities, you can come to the patch notes for it. But base stats, so again, she is a mid laner. From what I've been watching on some of the testing server, you pretty much have to build her like triple penetration, triple magic pen as you're working with her. But it's like, so neural network passive. If she casts an ability, so she does not have to hit it. Just after casting an ability, she gains a stack of flow. At 3 stacks, next ability is overclocked. So overclocked, enhanced, whatever you want to call it. Basic attack, physical damage basic attacks. Nothing crazy about her basic attacks. Links, so her Q, her primary. She throws out this little digital ball guy. He gets to a certain area and then he comes back. And when the base version of the ability, when he passes through you in the straight line, the first time he deals magical damage. If you hit people or minions on the return pass, it also does true damage. So that's where you're really going to get all of your damage, is if you can consistently hit those back passes. And the enhanced version is that at the maximum range, it pulses in the area, and that is also true damage. So if you hit this as an empowered, you can technically have three, not technically, you can have 3 instances of damage. You can have the pass through, the explosion, and the return, so you can deal some pretty crazy damage with this. Data burst, so her E. She throws a projectile that does damage in an area, and if it's empowered, it mesmerizes. If it's not empowered, it slows. And then her right click, her alternate, is a dash. I do believe that it's omnidirectional, so you can do that. Okay, it does say this. It does say that she's immune while dashing. I thought that somebody said there wasn't anything in the patch notes on that, but yeah. So while you're dashing, you're immune. So you can dash through steel dash or somebody else's dash. You can time this ability correctly to where if somebody's going to put a root or a slow or a stun and you dash properly, you would have to dash before they hit you. You can't like hit dash as they're hitting you and get out of it. You are immune. And then the overclock is you have a free second cast. Final thread going, you overclock everything, so all your abilities for, I think it's like 8 seconds, something like that. Where do we say overclocks? Or so, yeah, 8 seconds. So you get some movement speed, jump height, and all your abilities are overclocked. Oh, yeah, that was the other thing with the dash is your first basic attack after you dash explodes, and it's a AOE. But final thread, you overclock all your abilities for 8 seconds, and then if you recast it or the duration ends, you're going to throw like a big orb down on the ground, and that is going to do damage based on missing health. So it has execute damage. It's not an execute, it just has execute damage. Her augments. Her augments are related to her dash, just takedowns in general, and her vision. So with her dash, she can become stealth for 1 second when she dashes. Ram. So this one is a really high risk, high reward. Whenever she takes somebody down, she gets 5 magical power and 25% base mana regen, which it's stacking infinitely, which sounds crazy, but and then at 3 stacks, she gains an additional 5% movement speed. But when she dies, she loses 50% of the stacks. So it's like, if you have 3 stacks of RAM, then you get 5% movement speed, you're getting 15 magic power. Like, if you are just running away with the game, then yeah, RAM is broken. It's ridiculous. But obviously, every single time you die, you're losing 50% of your stacks. Like, it's not like a set, oh, like, kill one, get one, lose two. Like, if you have been crushing the game, you are 12-0. You have freaking 60 stacks, so you have plus 60 magic power, right? And like, you have an entire item's worth of extra stats just from your passive, and then you die one time, you lose half of that. So very high risk, high reward. To be seen if that one ends up being like an actually good augment. Docs. This one is the one I've been seeing used most often. So instead of a ward, you have your vision tool Docs, which gives you permanently 8% magic power, 15% max mana. So that's just a passive. Like, you just have 8% more magic power and 15% more max mana permanently. Excellent. And then if you use the active part of this, you get you reveal any heroes and wards in the area for 4 seconds. So you can kind of you can take down enemy wards with this. I don't know what the regen is on this. I'm assuming it's going to be just like a regular ward. I could be wrong. Okay, Daybreak. If you haven't been checking out the live or the posts from Ometa, or if you didn't watch the dev stream, this is Daybreak. This is a map, the new map that we are all going to have access to on Tuesday. And this is not a finished product. Say that again. This is not a finished product. So please, when you go to play this map, don't jump into it and go, oh, it looks terrible. The graphics are shit. This is really what we're... Yes, it's gonna look kind of bad because it's not a finished product. We are just here to take a look at what they have designed so far, say, I don't like these pillars here, I don't like this here, because after the map being up for a week, they're going to take it down again. And they're going to ask for feedback from the community. They want to hear from us, hey, what did you like about it? What did you not? If you fill out the feedback, don't say anything about the graphics. Don't say anything about, like, the parts of the map that you can tell this is something that's undone. Like, I think the invisibility pools are going to be bushes, right? Don't beat the dead horse. Don't say, oh, it looks bad. Give good constructive feedback. Hey, I think there's too many pillars in the duo lane. I think that you don't need it as elevated in these areas. Like, things about the actual structure of the map is what we're going for, because then they're going to bring it back. I don't know when they're going to bring the map back, but they're going to bring it back, and then they'll ask for some more feedback, and then I don't know how many times they're going to do that, but the point here is that they want us to say what we're looking for in a perfect predecessor map. And there's no such thing as a perfect map, guys, but the closer we can get, and the fact that they're actually asking us for the feedback, this is great. So give constructive feedback. Let's see if we can't get a really good map that will potentially replace the current map we use for ranked. Speaking of ranked, there will be a rank split going on. I'm going to see later on today if I can at least get myself up to plat, because me being gone for a week for work did not help me on my ranked grind. So just new split going to be happening. If you've played at least 15 games, you will get a new Grim skin. And I think you get color variations based on how high in ranked you got. But yes, a new Grim skin. And now there's going to be placement matches. So starting this next split, there will be placement matches. You'll play your first 5 games, and then they will place you in a rank after that. So there's a couple changes to the matchmaking on rank and VP as well. How they use the hidden MMR versus your rank. So a couple changes to that, and hopefully it'll be a little bit better. Okay. Now we're going to get into some of the hero changes. This is some highlights from them. They have a couple of little UI updates, and then we get into the actual ungodly amount of changes down here. So a couple of notable highlights in the hero reworks. Narbash, his E no longer is just a heal, and it is not anywhere near as much of a heal. So his E is now a toggle between movement speed and healing. So honestly, if you've played Overwatch, I can't remember the guy's name, but think of the DJ character. That's Narbash now, where he has a base ability that is always on, it's always healing, or it's always giving move speed. And then your Q is now a stim for that. So if you have your move speed on, then pressing Q gives more move speed. If you have your heal on, pressing Q gives your team more healing. And then his thunk hasn't changed. I think it has a little bit of an AoE around it, and it actually has a bit of a pushback, but nothing crazy there. And then they kind of screwed him on his ult a bit. They gave him something good, and then they screwed him because they took away your damage mitigation, but they gave him a mez. So it's if you hit somebody for long enough in your ult, then they get mezzed before the knock-up. So, yeah, that's the change they kind of made to Narbash there. Muriel, so they they took away his damage mint and gave it to Muriel. So on her ult, she gives 50, I think it's 50%. We'll get to her kit here in a minute, but 50% when she ults somebody, they have that much damage mitigation. Her E is no longer a shield; it is a healing area. And her passive, so it no longer gives on-hit damage and magical damage to whoever is shielded. It gives allies more heal and shield power, and it gives enemies, it applies a weaker version of Tainted. So it's only 25% compared to I think the 40% or 50% that is main items, but Muriel has anti-heal just built into her kit now, so you don't have to build anti-heal on her. Terra, she scales on armor now. So you build Terra full tank. All her abilities scale on armor now. So you just don't build damage items on Terra anymore. You build armor, and she gets power based on the armor you build. Shinbi, freaking broken. Her her right click, you can dash vertically and whatnot. Her wolves, her Q, you can send vertically. Her ultimate no longer is if you hit somebody twice, you can do 2 wolves on them. It is just once you get to 8 stacks on yourself, it just the amount of ability hits you hit on somebody within 10 seconds, I think, or something like that, it just stacks on you. And once you get to 8, you can hit your ultimate, and anybody that you've hit in that 10 seconds or whatever it is, it might be, I hope it's less time than that, they all get hit by all 8 wolves. So Shinbi's broken. A lot of sound effects have been changed. That's cool. Yeah, so a lot of sound effects, a lot of ultimate sound effects. have been changed. There's some updates to the interfaces where like you see charge meters or how much ammo you have. Pretty much any character that has an ability that stacks something. So Rev with reload or Crunch with empowered, Terra with empowered. Anybody that has something that you're normally having to keep track of, there is something built into the UI now that you're going to see it. Even on Kira with her Vengeance stacks, which they took off of her passive, put onto her Q. Even with that, when you shoot people with Kira Q, you are going to see a stat counter on the side. So anything with a stacking effect from character abilities, there's a UI for it now. Friend rewards, you get a referral system where like when you refer a friend to the game, you can get some free stuff. So referral screen now lives inside the rightmost tab. No need to visit. Yeah, so you can get, if you refer a friend to the game and they get to level 25, you get 750 plat. Huh. That's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. If these are the actual rewards, that's kind of crazy. Um, can you refer your own Smurf account? Would be hilarious. Some new skins. These Renegade skins look really cool. Hero bundles. You can spend money on those. The only time I'm ever going to tell you guys to spend money on Pred, unless it's something that you think is really cool, is when the recolors for the competitive skins come out, because that's what's going to determine if we have a LAN event in 2027. I think it's when they're planning on it. I am really hoping that by the time there's a LAN event, I have improved myself in the game enough to be Paragon and that somebody would want me on a team so I can subsequently go to said LAN, and that would be really cool. So something I'm working on. Yeah, website store, web store, and historic website, and I won't put stock on platinum. Yeah, okay, so you can get like the platinum bundles here on Predecessor.com. Countess and Feng Mao had their price increases. Okay. If you bought that bundle, it was like $30 on Steam or on Epic Games, whatever, that you just have every hero permanently forever. You don't have to worry about this. Opal. Okay, yeah, they're going to mess with the Opal store replay system. Replay fixes, unfortunately, they've been delayed and instead shipped in the next balance patch on Tuesday, March 10th. Okay, so they are fixing some stuff with the replay system because it sucks right now. Like anybody that uses that, you know, it kind of sucks. They're doing changes to that on the March 10th update. So Nitro is going to be temporarily disabled while Daybreak is up. Okay. All right. Gameplay balance changes. So there is a lot of stuff getting changed, and this is where the bulk of this video is going to be spent, is going to be us talking about general overview and the changes to all the heroes. So various heroes have had large reworks, some have had like little things or new and improved augments. Everybody have had their air control increased to 90%. I guess that's for ice map, or I don't know, knockups. Exceptions exist, such as Kalari, who had 100%. Yeah, so okay, yeah. All right. Death timers changed. Death timers decreased. Okay, so they decreased death timers. You respawn a little bit faster right now. It's like, okay, it went from 10 seconds to like 42 seconds. Now it's okay. They didn't change much. They changed something here in the middle that I'm honestly, I if I could like copy and paste and line it up would be easier. The big change is this. So after 23 minutes instead of it being 1.3 times this. So like if you're level 17 at after 23 minutes where it's 1.3 times 40, it's instead 1.25 times 40. So there you go. Kill experience. They changed XP experience. Okay. Here's the meat and potatoes. Here is all of the hero changes that we are going to be going over. Acheron is one of those big changes. He no longer uses mana. So there are, I think, 2 characters that got changed to no longer using mana, which is Acheron and Chimera. So Acheron lost his insatiable hunger augment, which was the one where he passively gained hunger, I believe. So now he has a another ability related to his web where he becomes camouflaged when he webs onto a wall, and then he generates 5 hunger per second while he sits on the wall. And he gets some health regen while he's sitting on the wall. So, cool. Yeah, now uses hunger instead of mana. And then it's going to say this again for every single ability. Here's the thing. He's fully magical now. He has 0 physical power scaling other than, I guess, technically his basic attack. But he has 0 physical scaling now. So if you jump into a game and you build a physical item that you're used to in Acheron offline and you're like, wow, this guy feels like shit, that's why. Because he has, as of Tuesday, he has no physical scaling at all. 100% magical. So, with that, passive, when he damages people or they damage him, he gets hunger stacks. So the same general rule still applies, where you deal damage to people, they damage you, you gain hunger. Once you get to maximum hunger, you are awakened for X period of time. And your abilities get extra effects based on you being awakened. So all your abilities no longer have a cost to cast because you have hunger. But again, his Q, the literally only change was it no longer has a cast and physical power scaling removed. Nothing changed with Q. Weblash had some big changes. So now, no matter what, if you fire it at the ground, fire it at a wall, whatever, you're going to latch onto it. So you don't have to have a wall near you to use this as an escape tool, which is incredible. It is an amazing little thing here. It did have a scaling, pretty massive scaling decrease, down from 60 to 40%. The base damage was increased, though. Again, the bonus physical scaling power removed, no longer increases leap range when awakened. Yeah, so now just when it's awakened, you have increased stun and root duration. All right, Crushing Maw. Again, damage multiplier decreased, damage decreased, physical scaling removed, physical armor shred removed. It doesn't steal any physical armor now. While it's awakened, it now shreds physical armor and magical armor for 5 seconds when awakened. The initial heal of the damage was decreased. Max health healing decreased, but now killing things grants 200% healing effectiveness. So basically, the regular hits heal way less, but the killing healing, so if you kill minions, you kill a hero, you get a lot of healing with this. Ultimate, again, physical remove. Pull strength is no longer changed based if you're awakened or not. It is just based on how close somebody is to you. So yeah, you want to be ulting while they're right next to you instead of trying to be, okay, awakened, and then I'm ulting when they're far away, being able to pull them in. Because if you're ulting somebody and they're at the edge of your cone, they probably can get out now, especially if it's anybody with a movement tool. Pull damage increased. Magic scaling decreased on the pole. Bite healing decreased by 10% at all levels. Execute threshold was increased, though, to 12%. So, yeah, you have a 12% base execute built in. And then the threshold for that is increased by magic. Yeah, you don't get you no longer grant physical or magical power on executes. They instead give you permanent health. So now instead of getting permanent stacks to your power when you kill people, you get permanent stacks to your health. So, cool. Argus. I don't know what the hell they were thinking with this guy. I kind of read through all these already just so that I would have a better understanding as I came to talk to you guys about it. But he's already like top 3 mid laner, and I think they almost gave him nothing but buffs. So they changed his ult aug. It's just infinite now. Like it used to be like a 25% increased range. Now it's just infinite range on his ult, and your projectiles travel faster. Okay. They did decrease his base stats, though. So his base stats are all decreased, like his health growth, his mana growth. Nothing crazy on. Okay, well, his mana growth actually took a decent nerf. But all his abilities got enough. So, like, they nerfed his base stats, but buffed all his abilities. So, like, you deal more damage with your Q. You have higher scaling with it. Stun is higher for your Q. The cooldown decreased. The cost decreased by 30 mana. Your E, again, more damage, more slow as you level it up. So it's worse early, actually. So it was just 35%. Now it starts at 25, but it can get up to 45. Cooldown less, cost more at the end, but this for me, this is not the first ability I'm ever leveling in any application, so the fact that it's a lower cost early is good. Now, like I said, with anybody with stacking things, you're going to see it on their health bar, but again, they just increase the damage, increase the scaling. They did increase the cost with that, so it costs 2 more mana per level, but they just made it better. And then they did nerf his ultimate base damage, but increase the scaling. All right. Aurora. Got rid of 2 of her augments, which they just... I'm not going to lie, I play like 0 Aurora, so both of these augments are now just built into her kit. Which they did that with a couple characters where they just took augments and made them a part of the base kit. So, Aurora Q now has a augment where damaging somebody with it shreds their physical and magical armor and slows their attack speed for 3 seconds. Come here, puppy dog. Give me the ball. Go get the ball. Loves her tennis balls. And then your wall has an augment that it puts like the Q crystals along the wall. So that's cool, I guess. I see this one getting used a lot, especially into tank matchups. Like if you look and you see that you're playing against a Terra and you are Aurora, then yeah, you're gonna build the armor shred. Okay, general changes. Passive now shows they're calling it pips. So yeah, it shows the stacks on the passive. Everybody, like, so all the abilities have these camera adjustments. I'm not gonna lie, without playing it, I don't know what exactly the feel difference is, but yeah, a lot of abilities had camera adjustments. Yeah, and then you have air control at the apex of the jump instead of being fixed direction. You got an increase on the magic scaling on your basic attack. Yeah. You can stop your dash early now by jumping. The wall will keep going, but you can do... Oh, yeah, the dash and the wall are 20% longer. Or Frost. This is your E, so your... oh gosh, your little circle thing. The height of it is more, so it has more of a vertical hitbox, so you can't just jump out of it with anybody. You actually have to be like somebody that has a jump ability. Magic power scaling increased, root duration increased, cooldown. Yeah, so it just kind of buffed this ability. And then your right click, the explosion delay is it explodes faster. It increases the slow as you level it up, has slightly less slow. And then your ultimate, if you get interrupted, you lose it now. And the damage cannot be cleansed, but you can only cleanse the slow and stun. So basically, they gave Aurora at least some value on her ultimate. Like, it's not, if you are into a matchup where somebody builds cleanse, you're just like, oh yay, my ultimate means nothing now. Like, they're still gonna take the damage, but they are not going to get stunned or slowed. Okay, Bale. Nothing crazy on Bale. His passive has more attack speed now. His basic attacks can be blink proxied. So you can, if you're doing your third basic attack and you're like in the middle of that downswing, you can blink and hit somebody with that. That if you pull that shit off, you are Tekken. You're Tekken kid pulling that off. Everybody else, yeah, that's some Tekken kid shit right there. Q, more power scaling. You no longer have the animation scale with attack speed. So it's not the attack swings aren't increased by your speed. It's just 18% faster by default. It's a lot. It costs more initially, but it's a lot cheaper at the end of the ability. So the cost goes down as you upgrade it now instead of increasing it. So Q max meta Bale still prevails. Woohoo. Your heal, so your damage increased, decreased, I'm sorry. But it has, and scaling decreased, cost a lot less and more cooldown. Okay, kind of general change there. Your jump has 5% more scaling. Yay. It's just a base 40. So it no longer increases. It is just a base 40. That is pretty good. And then same thing with your ultimate. If you get interrupted, so if you're dashing to ult and a steel Q is coming at you and you get knocked out of your ultimate, you just lose it. So Boris, stat changes. Your E, again, you now have like a visual tick on the counters. You have on-hit healing on minions and monster modifier. Your healing got changed. The scaling got decreased. The core on-hit damage was increased. The on-hit core scaling was... Oh, God, that sucks. They changed it from 16% physical power to 10% bonus physical power. Oh, God, that sucks. That's a big nerf. Core healing increased, and then core monster modifier. Okay. Mark duration increased. Jazz hands. Woohoo. Your E, less skin. God, they're just... Okay, the cost is less, the damage decreased. They didn't change the damage reduction, though, so that's still a great ability. Okay. Your right click now benefits from lifesteal instead of magical lifesteal. It was only getting buffs from Omnivamp before, but now you're getting lifesteal buffs. So if you right click somebody and you have Sky Splitter, you get healing from that. Cost increased and cooldown decreased. Okay, cooldown decrease is excellent though. And then your ultimate damage was just decreased. Yes, if it kind of nerfed Grux a bit. Makes me... I'm not Grux. Boris. Makes me a little sad. Okay. So Countess Q got changed again. So then they also changed the augment. So let's go down, because I'll explain the Q and then come back to this augment. So if you guys remember how Countess Q used to work. So it was a lock-on ability. You dashed to somebody, the shadow was left where you were, and then you could dash backwards back to your shadow. So And then the current one is just you deal the damage in front of you. You don't teleport immediately. You can choose to teleport, and then you teleport back. So the way it works now is a mix between the two. So it's an immediate teleport. So you don't make your shadow where you were. It is an immediate teleport. You go in, it deals the damage. And then also, this is a good change. So she no longer loses tower aggro. So basically, you can't Q while you're under tower to lose aggro. Like if you have tower aggro, you are unless you Q out of the tower, you are still going to take damage from towers. But point being, now the clone is left behind you, so you immediately teleport and you can teleport back, but it's not a lock on. So it's a mix between the old one and the new one. And this augment here allows you, if you teleport back, she repeats the damage at her current location before teleporting back. So basically, if you Q onto somebody, like you land it, you hit the Q, and then you choose to teleport back, they're on top of you. They're going to take a second instance of damage when you teleport back. You no longer reduce your cooldowns when you proc your passive. That is a big nerf to Countess, because that was obviously one of the biggest benefits was, you hit your right click, you hit your E, the cooldown on them got reduced massively, and then you're just ready to hit the buttons again. So you still have the true damage part of her passive, but you don't reduce your stuff anymore. Cost increased, cooldown change. Let's see, her E cost increased. Yeah, so she did get a reduction on the cost, or on the cooldown of her E. She had an increase early on her right click. So at the end, it's still the same, but just an early increase. And then same thing again, you've seen a lot of these ultimates that have a channel effect where if you get interrupted for any reason, you lose the ability. You don't get to recast it. Okay. Crunch had a big change to his passive and his ultimate. So now your alternate bonus dash range increased from 15 to, or decreased. Cool. Okay, cross crunch. You now have your empowered abilities at all levels. So pretty much level 3, you have access to all your abilities, and again, you have the pips under your thing. But they did nerf his physical power scaling by 10% to accompany this, so that now you no longer have that, oh, I hit level 6, I'm crunch, I have the best level 6 in the game, right? They did increase his basic attack scaling. Your empowered damage got decreased on your left crunch, so on your Q, the cooldown was decreased, though, and the animation speed increased. Your right crunch, so your E, had the slow and stun durations decreased from, by half a second each, pretty big. Cost was increased on them, and the cooldown was increased on it. So that is to kind of help with the spin cycle, so that you crunch, you're not just completely CC'd. Your dash had its scaling changed. The dash range was decreased. The cost was increased. Cooldown was decreased. So here's his reworked ultimate. So it's no longer just recasting the last ability you used. It just, you activate it, and it makes it so you can recast. It's kind of doing the same thing, but a little bit different. So it's better. Like, this is much better for crunch. You grant turbo crunch for one ability, doesn't matter if it's on cooldown. So essentially, if you dash in, you use your Q and your E to get a knock up, and then if you hit your ultimate, you can hit your E or your Q again and instantly use the empowered version of the ability again, even if it's on cooldown. So you can double true damage somebody, you can double knock up somebody, you can double dash somebody into a tower with like your long range dash if you want to dash and bring somebody with you into a tower. There's a lot of play to be done with that change. Rad rounds. Shows the amount. They instantly explode if you use your rad rounds, shoot somebody, and then you either boomerang them or shrapnel cannon them. They explode instantly. You get attack speed while using this. The initial shot and additional shots deal the same damage. The initial shot damage is decreased. The scaling was changed to... So this is the reverse. Here you have the initial shot is like a ridiculous amount of bonus physical power, but now it's 20% just physical power total. I don't know which is better because that's a big change, unlike where you had the 16 to 10 with Bale, but it went from bonus to, or from total to bonus. That one is just worse. This one, I think it's better, but I don't know. I don't have the numbers enough. It's definitely better early. Like your early damage is instantly better. It's probably worse late game. Additional damage changed and decreased. Duration decreased, so now you only have this active for 4 seconds, not 4.5. And the cooldown was increased. Your old rusty damage got decreased, and the cooldown was decreased, and your shrapnel cannon has increased scaling. Okay, Decker. But 2 of her augments are now just a part of her kit, which is great because like I never used the boot augments because I hated keeping track of it. So the fact that now it's just in my kit is great. The Ion Surge, I did use this one a bit, but again, just in the kit. Chef's kiss. 2 new abilities, one for your ult, one for your right click, which I will be using the right click one. So the ult augment now gives a shield. Cool. Based on your magical power times target missing health. So I don't know if it's because the wording on this isn't super great. Like, is it just allies in the radius of the ultimate when you use it, or is it allies like around you? It's unclear. If it's just in the radius of the ultimate, this is actually kind of bad in my opinion, but if it's around you, this is pretty decent. Yeah, it depends on that. This is good if you are Decker mid lane, if you are support Decker. This is just a good ability. Like, this is just really good because when you hit somebody with your bomb, you get 25 gold and 1 magic power permanently. The fact that they put the other augments already in your kit. Now, you do still have your Q augment. The Q augment is really good. If you still choose to go the Q augment, that is not bad because you get the more damage and the refund. However, if you are hitting your bombs, if you are hitting your stasis bombs, you're getting 25 gold every time you hit it, which that is, like, don't sleep on that because if you're sitting there, like, you know, you max your right click first, you get this on a good cooldown, and you are just sitting there hitting your bombs, you are going to be up on gold on the enemy support. You're going to be getting some extra magic power just for existing. This is a very good augment. Again, rocket boots now give 20% decaying move speed for allies within 1,000 units when you use them. So when you double jump, you can use this for engage, disengage. These are all, this is just good. Her Q, damage decreased, slow change. So it is better as you level it up. Cooldown increased early, same at the end. And you cannot interrupt the cast animation anymore. Okay, and then you actually got a slight nerf to your Q, and your ultimate has an increased radius and an increased cooldown at your first 2 levels. Eden. I don't play this character. I cannot tell you how much of this is good, bad, or whatnot. I do not play this character. I don't like this character. I don't like being squishy. I like being tanky. So, yeah, which is also part of the reason I really don't play ADC. But your scaling was increased on your melee attacks in melee stance. Your Tachyon Lance range primary was the cast time was increased. I guess that's from like when you click it, so it's not instantly shooting, but it's like by 0.06 seconds, so I don't think anybody is gonna notice that. Damage increased, or I'm sorry, decreased. I'm sorry, this is your primary. My bad, not your primary ability, not your primary melee, or not your primary basic attack. Oh. Cooldown decreased. Okay. Cooldown decreased on your Axiom Strike, your Sidewinder ability buff time. Yeah, this is a lot of like adjustments to the cancel times, or the just the times for hitting the ability. So yeah, okay. Feng Mao, mana, physical growth change, attack speed. The big change with Feng Mao is his passive, so you no longer get base physical power for getting your stacks. You get bonus physical penetration. So build assassin. Safeguard, less movement speed, more increase on your Q. Your hamstring got increased physical scaling. Change technically increased to your ISO damage, and your physical ISO scaling increase. So basically, getting people by themselves, you deal more damage. Reaping Dash, your right click. You only refresh, you don't fully reset your cooldown anymore. It's a 75% reset. So you don't instantly just get to dash, kill, dash anymore. It is close to that, but not instant. Earthshatter, you have less threshold initially on, so you have less bonus physical power scaling. They changed the scaling to be more related to the physical penetration, since that's what your passive is now, but they decreased all the numbers here. So your damage was decreased, your execute damage and execute thresholds were decreased. They did increase how long you have to recast it. But yeah, so just based on physical pen is the way you're going now. Gadget. New augment. So they got rid of that augment where you shielded people with your E. Now you have a scaling augment where at 200 passive stacks you just get a level. Okay. And then at 500 you gain 65% jump height. All right, man. So, and then the Blast Zone augment now grants 3 extra stacks when you empower a mine. So if you don't know this about Gadget, if you hit somebody with a Q and then you shoot them with a Q, it does more damage if you did not know that. So it sparks a little bit. So yeah, they added a thing to her Blast Zone augment where if you hit somebody with Q and shoot them before it explodes, you get 3 more passive stacks. Your passive, now you get 4 stacks instead of 3 when you hit abilities on enemy heroes. Did a damage decrease on her Q, decrease on the scaling. They just nerfed her Q. Okay, they did make it cost less, but they just nerfed her Q. Security gate cost less, more cooldown. Your right click does more damage at the end, but less in the beginning. Has more scaling, less cost, and less cooldown. Your ultimate has much more damage late game. It's the same level 1, a little bit more level 2, and a lot more level 3, and a lot more scaling. So your ultimate as Gadget will be hitting harder. Gideon. They added a bunch of stuff to his abilities that makes him do more based on max mana. So Alcorod Gideon, I think every time. Like, I think with what they have done to him now, if you are not building Alkrod, you are failing your Gideon. So yeah, because you get 1% increased max mana for every 10 magic power you possess. So also just building more magical power equals more maximum mana. Your damage from your passive got decreased, but the magic power scaling also got decreased by 7%. More root and cooldown for the root. Yeah, and now your basic attacks deal 2% bonus max mana on hit. So attack speed Gideon. I mean, you could like go Alkrod into prophecy. That's probably terrible, but I'm sure somebody's gonna do it. Yeah, again, like all your abilities got bonus mana scaling added to their damage. So you get 5% bonus magic scaling on your Q. Yeah, like you grant max mana on your E for 8 seconds when you cast your portal. It now costs like 300 mana max level though. Like you had a like this used to cost 100 at level, like at max level. Now it's 100 base. So yeah, your E cost a shitload of mana now. But it's like you use it. So it does, but it doesn't. Like, because you have these giant increases, but when you use it, you gain more. I don't really understand this change. I'm guessing it's because if you use your E first, the abilities aren't based on how much mana you currently have. It's based on your total maximum amount of mana. So you use this and then any of your other abilities, and your other abilities deal more damage because you used your E. So the idea is if you use your E as an engage tool, you will deal more damage. I explained it for myself. Yep, your right click, it progresses 1% faster per 80 maximum mana. Okay. 2% bonus mana scaling, magic power scaling decrease since you have them bonus max mana scaling. More slow, cost was changed. Black hole, again, same thing, 2% more max mana you grant 2% bonus max mana per enemy damaged. Cool. Magic's power scaling decreased by 30%, and the damage radius increased by 200 units. Greystone. More scaling on his basic attacks. Now it shows you how much physical armor shred is being done on the person you're hitting. The scaling was decreased on your E, but the slow duration, slow was increased, but duration was decreased, but this only costs 25 mana now. Your jump, way more damage scaling, and your ultimate has decent bit less damage, a decent bit less scaling, and the cooldown was less early, more late game. Grim. Passive. They increased your passive damage. You actually get 30% magic power scaling on your passive now, which is kind of funny. Cooldown increased from 5 to 8, so that's on the extra effect hit, not the conversion for your inverter. Your range was decreased on your basic attack. So they did this with a lot of the ADCs. If you have an escape tool, you have less range, but if you have no escape tool, you have more range. So the only exception is Grim, because if you use your E, so if you go into assault mode, then your range goes back up to what everybody else has. Yeah, so Empowered shots. Yeah. So your empowered shots, you jump up to 1650 range. So if you're using your E, since they cost mana, you have more range than your normal basic attacks. Yeah, some damage changes, nothing crazy. Oh wait, hold on. Okay, yep, yeah. Oh, your empowered shot damage can now critically strike. Could it not before? I thought. Okay, cool. That good buff. Warlord. I swear it could have. Okay, so the augment for Grux, where your on hits during your ultimate increased it, is now just default part of your kit. Now you can have a passive where you get more attack speed or camp leader within 1800 units that has a stack of bloodlust on them. So if you're use this one, you ult, you hit people, you're hitting 2 or 3 enemies, you are getting a bunch of attack speed. Yay. Your passive now shows the amount of bleed damage. The bleed damage is changed, so it's less late game, more early game. I guess what it would appear to be here because it's 1128, but you only get +1 per level. So yeah, you have less late game, more early game. Bleed bonus, they increase the scaling. Yep, your basic attacks have higher physical scaling. Your Q has a damage adjustment, more physical power scaling, increased cast. So you no longer have your E. This is now his old E. I don't remember. I think this is from Paragon. It might be from Overprime, but from Basic Paragon, where you charge up for like a half a second, dash forward a good bit. If you hit anybody, you bring them with you. Not the whole way, I think they said. You apply a slow to them, and it's a pretty big slow. So you bring them with you, you deal some damage. You now have an escape tool that's not just like a short dash. You have an actual like rushing escape tool or engage tool. Your right click. Healing is now applied to each person that you hit. Cost was decreased early, increased at the as you upgrade it, and greatly decreased on the cooldown. Okay, Howie, you can charge your Q now. If you charge it for at least 1 second, I believe, for up to 1.4 seconds. If you charge it for at least one full second, you deal the maximum damage. If you just do it right away, you do not. But yeah, you can move while you're charging it now at 50% speed, and you hover with it. So you have to charge your Q for 1 second to get full damage. You can activate your E mid-air. They just changed the name of the slow grenades, and they decreased your explosion radius on your ultimate. Iggy. Your passive now shows the amount of slick stacks on somebody, but they can be cleansed now. Your turrets deal less damage. Good. And they have more armor, but they deal less damage. I would have taken more damage and less armor. Oil spills, increased slow, less cooldown. Molotov, less scaling, but more burn damage. Your ultimate, more damage. Kalari. You can put death marks on more than one person now, and they have a cooldown on their heads. More physical power scaling on your basic attacks. Cooldowns changed. On your Shadow Walk. On your death mark, multiplier damage on your E was increased by 0.5 times. You had a decrease on the scaling, change to the cost and the cooldown. Your daggers have less scaling, more cost, and less cooldown, but more damage. A lot more damage, actually. Later level. They're the same at level 1, but more damage later. And your physical power scaling was increased by a lot on your ultimate. Okay, Kira. So they made a pretty big change to Kira. So now you have they got rid of her lethal dust augment. Now you have one that refreshes her Q. Yeah. No, I'm sorry, on her passive. So now her vengeance is just on her Q. So you're probably going Q first on Kira almost every time now. Her new passive is periodically she gets an empowered basic attack that when whoever she shoots, a raven flies at it and it explodes and it deals 8% of the current target's health to everybody in a little area. Yeah, and it doesn't trigger if your auto attack kills whoever you shot. Yep, so now your vengeance is on your Q. You can stack infinitely now. It resets the cooldown if the target is killed by the damage, so you can go in, ult somebody. If there's somebody low and you hit Q and you kill them, it resets so you can hit somebody else. Your bonus dash range was removed, so now the dash range increases as you level up the ability, and the cost is just a flat 40. So you don't decrease your cost on it by upgrading it. Your right click just applies 3 stacks of vengeance when you hit somebody. Less cooldown decreased. So, yep. And then your ultimate minion does less damage to minions and it decreases how much you slow yourself. Okay, Chimera. No more mana. He is a rage character now. Your augment that was where you hit minions, they just changed the name on it, and your regeneration is now based on your rage. Again, it is purely just you hit somebody, you get rage. If you keep hitting people, you get more rage. If you are at 50 rage, you have more move speed. If you're at 100 rage, increased size. Okay, I don't know, man. And the more rage you have, the more healing, and you have cooldown on your ability. So at 100 rage, you have 5%, you have 50% ability cooldown reduction, and you have a shitload of regeneration. So if you see a Chimera off lane, congratulations, you're building tainted first item. All your abilities no longer have a cast. They had cooldown increases for pretty much all his abilities. They had increased cooldowns. So yeah, his regeneration scaling on his E got massively nerfed. And then, yeah, your right click gives you 20 rage when you use it. Your ultimate has 20 rage per hero and monster hit. So if you jump into somebody, like if they're in the middle of the wave, right? You right click, you jump in, you ult somebody in the middle of a minion wave, you are instantly going to be 100 rage. Like if they are in a minion wave that has 3 minions in it, right? You right click, that's 20 rage. You jump in, there's 3 minions and the hero that you're jumping in on. You get 20 rage for each of them. That's 4 targets hit. You are instantly max rage, so you have 50% cooldowns, maximum healing just instantly. Like you are going to be just destroying people. Like building Chimera is going to be Overlord first into like not tainted, Void Helm if they're magical, and Draconum if they're physical, and then you build the other item after that. Like literally, it's those 3, and you just heal a shitload and build your health. So yeah, Quang. More scaling, damage changes. You have like a bit of vision around your Q if you leave it in the world. So if you go the augment that lets you leave your Q in the world when you back and teleport to it, you actually get vision around your sword. So that's cool. Your Surge of the Heavens. So your knock up, less stun. So it's only a quarter second stun instead of a half second. And some decreases. Your right click, the damage was increased on the true damage. The shield got increased. Yeah. And then some decrease on the damage of your ultimate. Bellica, more damage on her pulse fire augment, more damage just on her basic attacks in general. Stun height increased. A lot of bug fix stuff with her stun. Your drone is alive for 2 more seconds. Mana drain increased. The damage on it got increased. The mana drain on the damage was increased. It grants vision around itself now. So, like, if you drop your drone, like, if you're playing Bellica mid and you drop your drone in the jungle, if like, you don't have a ward, the drone will act as a ward for 12 seconds. So, you can drop your drone in the jungle. So, that's kind of cool. God, we are an hour into this video, and we are just getting to the M's. But fortunately, there's not like, oh god, yeah, no, we're like halfway through the patch notes. This is gonna be a ridiculously long video. Your Q on Mako no longer costs health, and you can heal yourself now. Cooldown change and decrease on Mako Fly. Cost decrease on your ultimate. Stun duration decreased on your ultimate, and the cost was decreased. Morgesh, your augment with Ritual of Death, you now heal yourself for 80 to 120% of the damage dealt. I'm pretty sure that's her augment with where you get resets, or you get like 20% taken off your ultimate when you use it, I'm pretty sure. So basically you just have, if you go this augment, you just have built-in Overseer without the damage part, but you have the healing and the cooldown part. Pestilence. It just shows you the stacks now, and you can have 4 stacks on somebody instead of 3. Your basic attack range was decreased because she has an escape tool with her E. More scaling on her Q. Your duration was increased on your E. You get, if you hit a non-hero, so you run into a thing of minions, you get more move speed, and it increases the duration by half a second. So if you run through a minion wave with this, you get 3 melees and 2 archers or 3 archers. So like, yeah, you can get like an extra like 3 to 4 seconds running through a minion wave, something like that. Your Mark had an increase in range, though. So, yep, increased range on Mark. The cooldown was decreased, but the cooldown reduced to 50% refunds, 100% mana when you kill something. So, if you kill a minion with your Mark or a enemy hero with your Mark, you get the mana back. So, basically, in lane, you can sit here and use your Mark to kill minions because you will get the mana cost back. Mourn, your augment that makes your Q apply to your ultimate is just built into your base kit now. You now have a ultimate augment that you get a shitload more move speed when you use it. Your cooldown on your passive is higher early, less late game. Your Q can't be stopped by crowd control. It decreased the amount of shred on it. Your E, less damage, less scaling, but more charm duration when you charge it more. Your right click, less damage. Your ultimate just does the effect instantly. Murdoch, more damage. More damage, and you track his passive. Less damage on your Q, but more physical scaling. You just now you have 120% magic scaling on the damage of your Q. You actually have more magic scaling on your Q than you have physical scaling. Your right click. Scaling increased. Maximum push distance increased. Push duration increased. Range increased. Your ultimate has magic power scaling now. Let's go Overseer, Ult Og, freaking Murdoch. Okay, Muriel, like we talked about, she's fucking broken now. She got rid of that augment where she like cleansed things. Now she has an augment that makes it so it casts her E on a target whenever you use it, because her E is no longer just a shield. Now her E is an ability that puts a bunch of mana, or I'm sorry, mana. It puts a healing area on the ground. So now Muriel shields and does effects with her healing. Or I'm sorry, she shields and heals with all her shit now. And it also, they made this her Q now. They moved her alacrity, so they moved her right click to her E, and they moved her serenity to her right click. So she still has all the same abilities, they just shuffled them around. Now you have to charge her serenity. And then her ultimate has a bigger shield, a fucking massive increase on the shield, less scaling, or I'm sorry, wait, what? That says shield magic scaling increased from 120 to 100. I don't, that should say decreased. Duration decreased. But now you have 50% damage reduction on whoever you use this on. So yeah, this is fucking ridiculous. Okay, Narbash. So a couple things with Narbash. Your rhythmic recharge on Narbash is if you use his E8. We talked about this earlier. It's a toggle now. You have an augment that lets you reduce the cooldown of your thunk, so you can pick it up after you hit somebody with it, and you get 25% cooldown back and 50% mana. Then you have one where you no longer heal people. Instead, you give more physical power to allies. So you grant allies increased physical power. And if you use March, they get additional physical power. So you can do physical power instead of healing as Narbash. So you can be a physical power and speed enchanter instead of a healing and speed enchanter. Kind of cool. Let's see. Yeah, so now your passive, it's not like the stacks of stuff for cooldown anymore. Now you gain more physical power, physical armor, and magic armor for every nearby or enemy hero. So if you are in the middle of a fight, you get more shit. You get more prots if you're in the middle of the fight. So you want to build Narbash tanky. You want him to have shields. You want him to have health. True Silver first is still going to be a good item. But then after that, like, you're wanting to almost build just, like, tank on Narbash almost. If that's your goal. There's multiple ways you can still build him. Again, I already talked about the changes for Narbash earlier in the video. Just, you have a toggle constant effect on your E. You have a rework passive. Yeah, your thunk is a... has a little knockback on it. Okay, then you have a ultimate where your ultimate applies a ramping slow, and if you hit somebody at least 5 times, they get mezzed. You don't get your damage reduction, which fucking sucks. And you are slowed by 30% while channeling. Also sucks. The stun is 1 second less, which sucks. The scaling sucks. Like, but now like the final hit of damage is more. So like, it's like, I don't know. I'll have to play them some, see how I think. Okay, Phase. You see if she has blink. Now she has a little thing on her health bar that lets you see if she has blink. Her basic attacks have 20% magic power scaling. She has some changes to her Q. You have your E now shows you the amount of stacks. It no longer pierces heroes, so you can body block this now. So it can't hit 2 people at once. Cool. Your tether. The tether will turn pink if... so yeah, the tether has a 1.3 second delay before the tether breaks once an ally is at max tether range distance, so it'll turn pink just a QL. Rampage. His Rock and Awe augment is built into his ability now. Now it's just built into the ability. You can rip it out of the air. Now you just get increased damage based on how far you threw the thing. So rumbling, the physical scaling was decreased on rumbling. There's some people that are doing this, like, building Rampage as a support now, where you go rumbling, but since you have the Q augment, you can get your Q out, jump onto you can jump, rip your Q out of the air, jump onto somebody, you're on top of them, and now you're just hitting your rumbling, and they are getting slowed by a lot, because if you're building health, then the slow increases, so you just sit there, they can't get away from you, and your ADC just gets to kill them. Yep, displaces enemies slightly when dealing damage. Behemoth, total health increase. You get 5% move speed. Rena, just some, nothing crazy, just some, like, general changes to how, like, her damage or scaling. Nothing really that insane. Revenant, his Spectral Bounty is just built into his ultimate now. Fucking insane. So now this just gives you more gold. I don't think anybody's going to be building this. I think you're either building Quick Draw or you're just building Fourth Shot Aug, because now that Spectral Bounty is just built into the kit. Yeah. So, excuse me. Yeah, your basic attack scaling was decreased a little bit. Q had magic's power scaling decreased. Okay. The health, your fourth shot missing health damage was increased. Why? God only knows. Fourth shot movement speed is increased by attack speed now. So that's the bonus you get from attack speed, is if you build any items with attack speed, you get more movement speed on your fourth shot. It immediately removes Revenant's combat penalty when triggering its movement speed effect. Cool. Monster cap damage increased. Critical hit modifier decreased. But yeah, now you steal 8, 9, 10% of their total physical power while in the Nether Realm. I need to... yeah, I'm pretty sure that's, like, permanently when you kill them. Yeah. Alright, Richter. Now his range increase is just basic. It's just included in your throw. You don't get the cooldown anymore. They got rid of his current overload. Now you have two different augments on Richter, one of which is you can hook allies. No. I mean, like, but no, I'm not gonna be. Do not go this. Do not go this. Zappo chains. So this is what you're gonna build if you're playing, like, damage Richter, because after casting an ability, your dex basic attack within 3 seconds zaps up to 9 enemies, dealing magic damage. So yeah, that's what you do if you go damage Richter. Most of the time, you're just gonna be going at your the tank augment now. All right. They changed his passive, so you no longer have the, like, if you immobilize somebody, you get a shield. Now, if you immobilize or silence somebody, their cooldowns are stopped while they are CC'd. So if you ult somebody, if you hook somebody, if you hook Q somebody, while they are under the effects of your abilities, their cooldowns do not happen. Then they had some changes to the cost and effects, but you now get a shield when you use your E. So you do have a shield. So yeah, you get a shield that's based on your max health and magic power for your E. And now you get less movement speed on your E. While it's active, it can if people hit you while your E is active, they take more damage. Max health decreased on your alternate damage, but the range was increased on your hook. And then your... I'm sorry, that's on your Q. And then on your No, no, I was right. Yeah. Okay, on your hook, and then on your Q. Wait, these both say alternate. Hold on. Okay, this is your. I'm pretty sure this is your ultimate. This should say ultimate. Sorry, they both alternate. Okay, Seraph. You don't crit people anymore. Now it's an on hit modifier on that. Yeah, you have some on hit modifier increases on your effects. Your right click does magic damage now. So it's still physical scaling, but it does magic damage now, although you have magic scaling on it. So, I don't know. Build. Well, actually, all your stuff has magic scaling now, so I have no idea how you would go about building magical Seraph, but apparently you can. Yeah, like, I, yeah, you have magic scaling on your dot, on your ultimate, magic power scale. I don't know how you do that, but I'm sure somebody's going to pull it off. Sevarog. You get more health per soul now, but it doesn't increase your siphon damage. Your tiers were changed from 50, 75, 100, 125 to 40, 80, 120, 160. I thought that's what it already was. I don't know if it's supposed to be the other way around, where it was changed from this to this. Have to get in the game and find out, because I'm pretty sure this is what it currently is. So I don't know if that's a typo and it's supposed to be it's now 50, 75, 100, 125. You don't get the execute anymore. Now at level 3, now you get like they change your Q, so you get like temporary bonus max health. That doubles at tier 3. You don't do aura damage anymore. Now at level 4, you reflect 10% of your damage taken. Holy shit. That's broken. You build that plus fucking Tainted Guard, and you just go stand in front of a Sparrow alt and watch her kill herself. And you build Tainted Guard, go Razorback, get the tier 4, stand in front of anybody, go stand in front of an Iggy, click Razorback, and watch him kill himself. So, yeah. Your Q, like I said, now it steals max health for 30 seconds, stacking indefinitely. So it's not permanent. It's just you can hit as many people and it'll keep stacking for 30 seconds. The scaling is increased on it. The bonus health scaling is increased to 5%. And it only costs 20 mana now, and you have more cooldown early but less late game. Your E is no longer a root. Now it slows targets and chains them to the center. So it's kind of like it's kind of like Quang Tether now. And if they move more than 600 units from the center, then they are stunned for 1.25 seconds. Your Rush now can dash vertically and fears targets. So it's like Boris E. Fucking insane. Colossal Blow now executes minions. So once you get to level 16, your ultimate can execute minion waves. Okay, Skylar, they got rid of her suppressive fire augment. Now it's just built into the base kit. The delay between shots is increased. Now she has a new augment where her duration lasts 5% longer I'm sorry, 0.5 seconds longer, and fires an additional missile with each activation. Yeah, so her plasma grenade got a bunch of gravity changes and some scaling changes. Your air assault, you get more range when you do it, which is toxic as fuck. Did her basic attacks get, like, does she have less range, or is she literally just... Yeah, so that kind of sucks. So yeah, sucks to be you. Okay, Shinbi, all 3 of her augments were removed, and she has 3 new augments. If you kill somebody with your ultimate, resets. Rushing beat cooldown is just straight up 20% less. And you have an empowered basic attack, so when you do your last attack in your attack chain, it does additional magic power damage, and the base damage is changed. So basically, your basic attacks deal magic damage now. This is really good. You no longer have your cooldown reduced by dealing ability damage on your passive. Now it's just an empowered strike your empowered passive strike gives you mana back. So yeah, attack speed shouldn't be fucking nuts now. Yeah, it's fucking nuts. Okay, your Q. I already talked about Shimby. Your Q can travel vertically. You have a little bit more cast time, but you get some move speed on your E. Yeah, you deal your. You don't get your cooldown refund on your right click. You can dash vertically, and I already talked about the ultimate change where it can just damage everybody that you've hit, and the stacks are on you. Okay, Sparrow, her her invis is just permanently. It's just a permanent part of her kit now. You have a new augment where her basic attacks ricochet to nearby targets. Fucking disgusting. Because that is just... your wave clear is just broken now. Yeah, that's insane. Your passive now shows you the number of stacks on enemy heroes. You have some scaling changes on all your effects. You have you can see the charge meter on your piercing shot now. Cool. And all your stuff scales with magic now. I don't see anybody building magic power Sparrow, but yep. Okay. Your Q augment automatically happens now. This is your new best augment, heavy metal. Your punt, so your basic attack and your shield bash deal bonus magic damage equal to your 12% of your armor. Crazy. You can just build full tank steel with this, and you just deal more damage. It is insane. Yep. Now it's a chain strike, so you do a. It's kind of like Bale. Your basic attacks are like Bale now, where you do a 1-2 and then final hit. Your light attacks deal 40% damage and only apply 40% effectiveness on your on-hit effects if you build on-hit steel for some fucking reason. Heavy attacks deal 125% damage. Okay, yep. Your Q now has the unstoppable built in by default. It has a little bit less health scaling, a little more cost, a little less cooldown. Your shield, less damage, less scaling. Okay. And then your shield bash has less damage. I'm sorry, more damage. My apologies. Less max health damage, and your cost is decreased. So it's the same once you get to max level. It might be right click. In fact, it's probably right click max steel again. Especially with that, if you're going the heavy metal augment, it's probably right click max steel again instead of Q max. Your ultimate had the camera adjustment. Okay, Terra. I already talked about Terra. All of her stuff is now armor based. You build full armor. You get increased armors when you're under tower. So good luck trying to tower dive a freaking Terra. Yeah, like just your stuff does not scale with physical power anymore. It is all scaled on magic power. I'm sorry, magic power. Armor, like just all your shit is based on how much armor you have now. Like you don't scale with physical power on any of your abilities now. Everything is scaled based on armors. So just build full tank. And then on your ultimate, you still get the existing effects, but now you get a decaying slow when you activate it. Disables any turrets. I didn't read this part. Disables any turrets. I wonder if that works for Iggy turrets. Within a radius. But you're not unstoppable anymore. And you don't get the doubled passive armors. Now you just get additional armor. Like, it's not a double your armors. It just gives you more armor. And you just get more tenacity. And the bonus physical armor, the bonus armors are decreased. Same initial, a little bit less. So you're not unstoppable anymore. You just have a lot of tenacity, but you disable turrets. Oh, okay. This doesn't say your towers. This says under towers. So you are also a tower dive fiend. Like, you can dive tower, ult, turn off their tower for 5 seconds, and fucking murder them. Oh my god, that's insane. Okay, Faye. Scaling changes. You get to see, like, you get to see the stack numbers on your E. Your right click's a lob now, and they made your ultimate bigger for some fucking reason. Okay, twin bot. Don't use this. Like, unless this is bugged at the moment, do not use this spray and pray augment. Like, it might be bugged at the moment, but everybody I watched using it, do not use this. It is fucking terrible. Just keep using either the Q or right click augment. Yeah, just mostly change. Nothing crazy. Just cast frame changes, some damage increases, and changes. Wraith sucks now. His alternate does not pierce terrain anymore, and it's like it does more damage. That's the thing. Like, okay, instead of bonus physical power, it's based on a higher percentage of total physical power. So you deal more damage, but you don't pierce terrain anymore. So you can build him now, but he doesn't do what he used to do. Yeah, so okay, I don't know if he completely sucks, but he doesn't do the whole like I pierce terrain, I fuck you up thing anymore. Wukong. More scaling on his basic attacks. One of his abilities had a cost increase. Yeah, like literally nothing changed on Wukong. There is no changing on Wukong. Yin. More scaling on her basic attacks. You get a visual on her passive. You gain, yeah, you again, you just see the effects of her stacks. Yeah, nothing crazy on Yin. Yuri, we're almost there, guys. Okay, like a lot of word changes on Yuri. It's a lot of just more healing, more scaling. The ability costs more. Change on the hitbox. That's all on her Q. Her E has more damage for some reason, more scaling. That's toxic. Just a cooldown changed on that, and you have a more self slow on your ult. Xeris, more scaling on your basic attack, more damage on your Q late game. Full charge damage was increased by a good amount. Scaling increased, cost increased. Your E has a cooldown change. More scaling on your right click. You have less time for holding it, so you basically have to I mean, if you're on instant cast, this means nothing. Colosseum bonus scaling increased by a lot. Cage duration decreased by half a second. Zinx, just some bug fixes there. Her tick damage was increased. Her Q damage got decreased, but it no longer has bonus homing towards targets, so you actually have to hit her Q now. Bad medicine. Okay. All right, I am not gonna sit here and go through all. Okay, wait, hold on. There's like no item changes. Okay, I can go through the items. Okay, hold on. Your crest shield got changed a little bit. Okay, some small changes on your tier 2 items. Carry nuke rounds has more attack speed. Quiver has more attack speed. Sky Splitter has more damage on Rend for melees and range. Yeah, just Rend has more damage. Solaris decreased damage. Spectra reworked. On hit damage decrease. Always apply on hits. Okay, Viper less corrosion. Basilisk has less shred but more move speed. Amulet of Chaos has less pen. Azure Core Spirit Shield change from 20% max mana to 80 plus 15% max mana. Okay. Life Core, less healing. Okay. Megacosm, less cost. Added health to it, and it no longer has mana. Interesting. Oathkeeper, less damage. World Breaker, more cooldown. Fire Blossom has more armor, less damage, and less scaling. That's probably to keep Terra from being an absolute fucking menace. And Inquisition has a increase on the cooldown, and then there's some bug fixes here. Okay. So, yeah. Insanely large patch. Just make sure to play the game. Play on Tuesday. Again, I'm gonna reminder with Daybreak. Constructive criticism to the devs. Give the good feedback. We want them to keep doing this. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you hung out till the end of this, is a ridiculously long video. Let's just go enjoy some games.